Hey guys, Matthew here, and this is a video posting on Sim Racing Online Vids. This is a sort of review about the Spanish Grand Prix, which of course has just taken place this afternoon. I will be telling the results, or a few of the results for you too, for those of you who don't want to know, mute your sound, and I'll give you sort of a chance to. So I've just got a little bit of F1 2011 gameplay, of course, using Lewis Hamilton and McLaren, which was one of the controversial points of the weekend. If you didn't know, Lewis Hamilton got disqualified from qualifying for stopping out on track. For stopping out on track after doing his fast lap in qualifying and getting pole position. McLaren then did a statement afterwards saying he was underfueled, and that was why Hamilton did stop out on track. Of course, after qualifying, you've got to provide a fuel sample so that the FIA can check that it's not contaminated with any substance that could be improving the car's performance. So Hamilton started from the back of the grid. Since he was in qualifying one, he pretty much used up a lot of his tyres to get there, so he was on the back foot for the start of the race. But I think that was a pretty I wouldn't say daft, but I would say a pretty strict penalty they implied on Hamilton. I think it was also a bit unnecessary too, because he did provide the sample at the end of the race. I'm not sure if the sample may have been contaminated or not. I don't think there's any news on that it actually was or anything. It was just, stopping out on track. That was the reason why he was penalised. But even if he were to be penalised, which I don't think he should have been, but oh well, if they were going to inflict a penalty, I would have probably inflicted him with a 5-place grid drop. Because, to be fair, that was a pretty horrific penalty they put on Hamilton. But, there's nothing he could do at that point, and during the race he actually made up a lot of positions. The highest place he got to was 4th, I think. He finished 8th, I believe. Just tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. But if you turn that on its head, you've then got Pastor Maldonado for Williams on pole position. This is Williams' first pole since Brazil 2010, and the person on pole that weekend was Nico Hulkenberg. He had quite a disappointing race due to changeable conditions, and the car just generally being a bit off pace. But Pastor Maldonado, I'm not really so surprised that he was up there. I was expecting about a 4th or 5th position. Because if you look at his qualifying times, they were very quick. And Q1 he got the fastest time, Q2 he got the fastest time. I was kind of preparing for top 5 qualifying position from Pastor in qualifying 3, and he did deliver. And due to Hamilton's penalty, he had to take full advantage of that grid position in the race. Of course, he did have Alonso behind him, and Alonso, of course, is quite a good start. I mean, if you remember Catalonia last year, Alonso jumped from 4th to 1st, just going down the straight into the first corner on the first lap, But Maldonado did manage to max out on his performance. I think, I think knowing that he started on pole, what Williams at least wanted was a podium, which would have been their first in about 2 seasons, I believe. If they did, well, in the end they actually did get a win, which is good for Williams. That's their first win since I think it was 2004, Juan Pablo Montoya. I can't remember which race exactly, but it was pretty exciting race, because him and Alonso were pretty much just trading positions during the first stint. Alonso was in front, he'd maximised the start and was pulling. Well, he didn't really pull that much of a gap out, which was the reason why Maldonado was able to maximise on the second stint, because Maldonado, I think he pitted like a lap later or something than Alonso. But that meant his tyres were a little bit fresher, and I think by the next pit stop he pitted earlier. I'm not sure. I'm sure he pitted earlier than Alonso managed to get the jump on him. But the last stop was probably the most critical, because the front two pretty much wasted all the tyres. Raikkonen behind was on a fresher set of tyres and managed to catch up to Alonso and was just 7 tenths behind him at the end. Although Maldonado did manage to keep Alonso behind him, even though he had a sticky wheel nut, left rear, if you know what I mean, McLaren. And yeah, it was just a great race for Maldonado. Even the charging Alonso couldn't follow him. Pretty much faultless performance from Maldonado in that perspective. So for these races, I rate them out of 10 in terms of, for excitingness and disappointingness. So I rate them out of 10 for Lewis Hamilton. So I give the race this weekend an 8 because Maldonado Alonso. For disappointment, I give it an 8 as well because Hamilton was one of the favourites and really should have had pole. See you later, goodbye.